everybody, we're back with the Bass Bros podcast, and my guest today is Tom Raftican, and I'll let him introduce himself. We work together, we put together projects for the Sportfishing Conservancy. We have a lot of fun together. Fishing, which we did do this morning, we'll talk about a little bit later. But Tom, we got a big tournament coming up next weekend, next Saturday. Really excited for it. Introduce yourself, kind of tell people what we do.
Tom Raftican, president of Sportfishing Conservancy, and we look out for fishermen and fish.
Yeah.
And we've done a lot with best practices for recreational fishing. We also work with a number of nonprofit conservation groups that are really focused on habitat, because when you get down to it, good habitat really makes good fishing. Regardless of the fishery management, if you don't have the habitat, it's not going to be there. So we try to focus on coastal marine habitat mostly. We work with the Land Trust for Santa Barbara County, and we've helped contribute over $10,000 to their restoration efforts in the Carpentry of Salt Marsh. And right now we're working with the Gaviota Coast Conservancy. And they're looking at how do you keep the Gaviota Coast natural, but at the same time leave it open for recreation. So we support them. And coincidentally, we've got a tournament coming up on August 26th. So a little bit of background on the tournament?
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
If you're familiar with our No Motor tournament, we've held these for probably the last 14, 15 years. We fish on the beach, you can kayak if you want, and we have a wide array of prizes from a lot of support from a lot of different sponsors. And I've got a Bass Pro Shop hat on because they have been great helping us out. And this tournament on August 26th, we're going to give away a Bass Pro Shop kayak, one of their fishing kayaks, one of their Ascends, I don't know, 10 foot, 12 foot, I'm not sure which one, but we're going to get that out there. We judge the tournament on the number of inches of legal fish caught. Now, there are a limited number of fish in there, but the thing is, we give you kind of a marker and a rule, and you simply measure the fish, take a picture, and come back and we judge it at the end. So the winner, the one who gets the most points, the most inches there, awarded first place and gets extra tickets in a raffle for the kayak. So the good news is, if you win the tournament, you've got a really good chance of coming home with a kayak. The other news is, if you just happen to show up and you give a donation of $20, you're in on the drawing, and you have a very good chance of winning a kayak. I think last year somebody who was just one of the people from the Gaviota Coast Conservancy actually won the kayak. She did not win the tournament, but she walked away with a kayak. So pretty cool tournament. Like I said, we've had the format down for the last probably 15 years. Yeah,
it's a really cool tournament because it allows you to be as competitive as you want to be to win that kayak. And if you just want to show up and hang out and have a good time, like most of us do, you still can win a kayak. And let's talk about this kayak, because we both fished out of this kayak. It's a great kayak. We've got fish in Florida out of it, I would imagine, right?
Yeah. One of my partners at the Sportfishing Conservancy and a partner, we picked up a place in Florida going back 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was just basically a fishing shack, but it's on the water, and got a kayak in the backyard. And you and I have both fished there and fished in basically the same kayak that we're giving away. And they work really, really well.
Yeah.
And note, the kayak that we have in Florida was actually won by the son of one of the folks that works for the Conservancy. So
yeah.
We allocate the tickets. Everyone pays for the ticket. I just want to be very clear about that.
Mm-hmm.
We make sure we're above board on it. But Robin Osborne won that kayak, and he's been gracious enough to allow us to fish out of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful kayak. I love fishing out of that thing when I'm over at your house. And Tom's being humble. He's got I think it's like It's paradise when I go over there, man. You just wake up, there's dolphins, there's stuff I really don't want to see in the water sometimes. That scares me. But man, what a beautiful place that is. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of make the point. This is a great chance to win a really great kayak.
An awesome kayak, and you know, the thing is, the proceeds go to the Gaviota Coast Conservancy.
Yeah.
They've done a really good job of trying to keep the Gaviota Coast wild.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so when we have, you know, streams that flow into the ocean, they're clean, they're clear. They provide the habitat, they provide the forage for the fish that we fish for out in the ocean. So this is a surf fishing tournament where we're doing a little different location this time. It'll be at Haskell's Beach, which is at the very end of Hollister Avenue in Santa Barbara, so it's just outside of the city of Santa Barbara. Best way to find there is look for Sandpiper Golf Course, and just drive past Sandpiper Golf Course. It's probably maybe a half a mile past there. So great location out there. From what I've seen, very good fishing on the beach right there. Now, you're not you don't necessarily have to fish there. You can fish where you want, but the thing is, get up there, sign up, get out there, and you know, you've got half a mile or a mile of fishing right at the front door there.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is another really good point. It's a brand new location. You can fish there if you want to. We'll have an easy setup on the beach. You'll find us really easily. If you can't find us, my phone number is available on the website as Tournament Director. Give me a call, I'll guide you there. And then also, Tom, with the switch of locations, if someone did want to fish at Haskell's,
Yeah.
what do you think the best thing for that person to win the tournament would do? Or,
You know,
what are some ideas?
oftentimes, folks fishing for surf perch or corvina or croaker, you know,
Yeah.
and they, you know, fish small lures. Right? Haskell's, if you walk up the beach a little bit, there's some pretty good rock outcroppings there, and you get legal halibut and legal white sea bass coming in there.
Wow.
So we go from fishing basically, you know, gulp bait, sandworms, sand fleas, up to start throwing Lucky Craft or Castmasters for some really nice fish in there.
Yeah, so this is a location where you're kind of going to want to bring some heavier stuff a little bit.
Yeah, if you're going for those guys. The good news about the structure there is it's there and it's home to fish.
Yeah.
The bad news is the structure also eats your lures.
Yeah.
So, you know, if I'm throwing Lucky Craft, I'm throwing a really heavy leader on there. I just, you know, I can't afford a bunch of them, so.
Yeah.
But you know, it's a good location, great chance to get out and do some fishing. Hey, I want to put in a special plug: Hook, Line, and Sinker Tackle in Santa Barbara. Ben Miller there does an awesome job. If you get a chance, stop in and just check out the tackle store. They do a really, really good job. But that's also our home away from home for the tournament. You can go in there and sign up right there, and you know, good to go right from there.
Yeah, and also talk to Ben, man. He's got his thumb on the pulse of the fishing in Santa Barbara. He could give you really good advice. If you're gonna throw into that rocky stuff, pick up some extra lures. You don't want to run out of something that you just caught a fish on. It's the worst feeling ever. And yeah, go grab your confidence baits. Ben has them. I've been in the store. I was blown away. I thought it was gonna be mostly saltwater. I was blown away that he had, you know, pretty much everything I could need on the lake.
Yeah.
So he's got a wide array of stuff. He's got a wide array of knowledge. Go talk to him, check him out. He'll take care of you.
Patrick, the store's on Villa Real right there, you know, off of State Street, right by the San Marcos Pass turnoff. You go right across the pass, and all of a sudden you're at Lake Cachuma, which is one of the better bass lakes in California.
Yeah.
I think the largest bass, or the second largest bass taken in the state of California, is taken out of Cachuma.
Yeah, I fished there one time with Philip. We were camping. Unfortunately, me and my brother aren't the most prepared when it comes to that. I think we brought a box of Pop-Tarts and no tent. We just slept in the back of the truck.
Yeah.
But we just walked around and caught like 23-pound bass that whole over the course of the weekend. But man, it was such a fun lake to fish.
And thanks to the rains this last year, there is a lake there.
Yeah.
Okay, it was really suffering. We got big rain coming in this coming week, but right now they've got water that's gone over the dam, so it's back up and it's a great place to fish. You know, I love freshwater. I got a good friend that lives over in the San Ynez Valley. He'd take his boat out in the ocean, fish saltwater, come back in, and then he'd just drop it, and this is a way back, he'd drop it in Kachum and use it to wash out the motor on it. Right now, you have quagga mussels, so you can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
But it's just a wonderful lake, just really close to Santa Barbara.
Yeah, and speaking of that tropical storm, I think it's Hurricane Hillary. We're gonna get the end of that. Do you see that affecting the surf fishing at all? Does it make it better? Does it make it worse? I don't know. I don't know anything about that.
It's not gonna be the best thing in the world for a few days.
Yeah.
But I think it's early enough that, you know, it's gonna rile up the bottom. You'll get outflows in all the creeks and rivers.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, we're gonna have 6 days in between, so I think we should be back close to normal by next weekend.
Cool. Yeah, I think that would be really cool if that could make the fishing kind of get a little better. I think the fishing right now is good. Yesterday morning we were at Seal Beach fishing with Bob, and fishing wasn't bad.
No, I think when I sent you the pictures of the bass that we caught this morning, I also sent you a picture of a corina that Bob got yesterday, illegal in the surf. So.
Yeah, and I was throwing a lucky craft. I wanted to catch a halibut. I went down to the jetty, and you know, it's like early in the morning. I hadn't gotten bit yet. I was going over this little rock point that kind of stuck out. The rod loaded up. Every time my rod loads up, I kind of lean into it just to make sure it's not a rock. And then I felt that head shake, and I was like, "Oh wow, I got a fish." By the time I leaned into him, he had jumped out of the water. It was a legal halibut. I want to say like 8 to 10 pounder. It was like a largemouth bass just threw my lucky crab right out of his mouth, and I was just like, "What just happened?" And I made the same cast, and I caught a short. But man, I really wanted. I haven't caught a legal halibut from the surf, and that would have been a little check off the list for me.
It's pretty cool, and it's great doing that. And there's that outside chance that you get in that tournament next weekend. The opportunity is there. Okay.
Yeah.
You're getting up. You know, Gaviota Coast runs up to Point Conception. They're big halibut up that way.
Yeah.
I mean, that's high ground. That's the good stuff.
Yeah, and when we did our little site visit at Haskell Beach, it looks prime. It looks really good.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard for me not to fish during the tournaments.
Well, you can fish, you just can't win.
Yeah, I know. That's if I can fish, that's fine. But yeah, it looks like it's a beautiful little kind of hidden beach. It seems like it's going to be.
It's right by the Bacara Resort. The Bacara tennis courts are there. And there's a parking lot there, but the parking lot is actually a public parking lot, and there's a path to the beach on the obviously the ocean side of the parking lot, and you wind down, and it's probably I would guess what, a quarter mile to the beach.
Yeah.
You wind along the path.
Mm-hmm.
So get there a few minutes early, get out. It's just a wonderful location, a great new place to get in the surf, get your feet wet, catch some fish, and if you want, you can drag we're gonna drag a kayak down, so you drag your own kayak down there and fish, fish off the beach.
Yeah, I think that would be a good way to go catch different species, like some sand bass or calico bass. If you jump on that kayak and kind of find some structure. And like you said, you don't need to catch anything to win any prizes. We got the kayak that's like, obviously that's what you want to win, but we also got a rod and reel combo that's going to be there. Bass Bros is going to have a little prize package with baits and shirts and stuff like that. So there's plenty of stuff to win. You get up. Like I told you today, man, we had 2 of the best starts to our day ever. We got to start at the beach sunrise, and then we got a lake sunrise 2 days in a row. And it's just so fun, and you just feel so good getting outdoors and starting your day like that.
Absolutely awesome. Absolutely awesome.
Yeah, and we can talk a little bit about what we did this morning. Don't give away too much. No. I'm just kidding.
Well, Patrick, you always want to talk about what we did this morning when you get the bigger. Okay?
Yeah, I know. Right? That's why I scheduled the podcast.
Yeah. I may have caught more fish than you today. Okay. But most of them were the little baby bass coming in, and I was getting tired of the little baby bass. But you got 3 or 4 really nice fish out there.
Yeah.
We're fishing Canyon Lake, but tell us about it.
Yeah, this place isn't, I think it's a magical lake if you can get on it. It's obviously, it's a private lake, you gotta know somebody who live here to get on it. But, I mean, I would put this lake up against any lake in Southern California. Summer's a tough time to fish. When it's 100 degrees out and I'm fishing a tournament and a circuit at all these public lakes, I'm like almost 100% throwing a drop shot.
Yeah.
I didn't tie one on today.
Oh.
I didn't tie one on today because I know this lake, and we got like a 4.5 pounder on top water to start the morning. Tom caught a nice fish on a popper, which that's possible to do at other lakes in that bite window where they're feeding. But throughout the day, what makes this lake cool is a lot of our other SoCal lakes, there's no shade for these bass. So they go deep. They go 30, 40, 50 feet deep. And this place has abundance of shade because of the docks and vegetation.
Yeah, and the arms that run up into the lake, from the main body of the lake, these different arms, different fingers that run up. And they're high enough that they provide shade.
Yeah.
And if you will notice, some of us noticed that the bass bite on the sunny side of that finger was not wide open.
Yeah.
But when you got on the shady side, I mean, it wasn't a bite on every cast.
Yeah.
And stretches pretty close.
Yeah. And that shade allows access to shallow water fish, which is. It's the easiest way to catch bass, or I wouldn't say the easiest way, but it gives you, if you don't want to go searching for them deep or you don't have any deep spots, you can hit the bank and catch a 4-pounder here and there.
Yep.
And I was pretty confident we could have probably pulled, we fished from 6 to 10, we probably had, let's say, 15, 16 pounds.
Yeah,
like 3-4 pounders, couple 2-pounders.
Yep.
I think, but if we fished throughout the whole day, we'd probably have 18 to 20. That's a massive bag at any SoCal lake in this time of the year, 100-degree weather. The storm might have something to do with it. It might be biting a little bit better than usual, but the way we were catching them, it seemed kind of normal to me. We were skipping docks with Senkos. We hit that early feeding morning period with some top water. Just got lucky. It's tough to catch a big one on top water in general. I got lucky enough to hook into a good one. And it's just, this place, it blows my mind. Every time I go out, it blows my mind.
Great place to fish.
Yeah, and skipping Senkos under docks, it's a great place to practice that. You got a million places to do that. I was telling Tom, like, a lot of people during the tournament won't throw that Senko because you catch a little one, 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 and you're like, oh, this is only catching small fish. But you get it in front of that 3 or 4 pounder, it'll eat it too.
Patrick, I was getting to that point. I'd gotten probably maybe 5, short little baby bass. And it's like, oh man, and as I'm thinking that, I'm looking over at you've got the rod bent, you've got a 4-pounder on, you pulled out basically from the same spots we were fishing. Yeah. And it's like, all right, okay, fine.
Yeah, and that's just the luck of the draw.
Yeah.
It's just like grinding through those little ones to get a big one.
Fish harder, that's all.
Yeah, exactly. So that's awesome. What else we got going on, Tom, with Sportfishing Conservancy? Prior to this tournament, if you can't make this one, we got another one after that, right?
We have another one coming up in October. On Saturday, October 21st, will be the 15th annual No Motor Tournament. It'll be at Danny's Deli, Carpinteria. We kick off, we get there, we're there before first light. Everybody leaves Danny's right around 7 o'clock. Get there earlier, sign up, sign in, get your package together. And when you fish one of the tournaments, we put together goodie bags, and you end up with probably the donation amount already in gear when you sign up.
Yeah, I would say easily.
So get there early, sign up, and again, we'll be giving away a Bass Pro kayak. And we want to thank all the people that help us, sponsors, and in particular Bass Pro Shops. They've been really, really good. Yeah. So, but anyway, Saturday, October 21st, Danny's Deli, Carpinteria Avenue, Carpinteria.
Yeah, same deal. just get there for check-in, fish wherever you want, get there by for weigh-in time. That's very important. Got to be there on time.
Weigh-in time, I suspect, is 11:30 on that one.
Yeah, it's either 11 or 11:30. I'll clarify that when we get
And for either one of these tournaments, you can sign up online. So
you can sign up online, which I would absolutely recommend going to our website, sportfishingconservancy.org, and then you can see all the rules, you can see what's going on, kind of plan your day out based off those rules, and kind of get ahead of the game, prepared, and see if you can win that kayak.
Amen.
Yeah, exactly. And then other than that, we can talk about what Ben Miller's kind of put together, which is kind of cool. What we're kind of helping.
One of the things that we help sponsor is Ben Miller, Hook, Line, and Sinker.
Yeah.
Is putting together a high school fishing tournament for the high schools in the Santa Barbara area. Basically Santa Barbara County. But I think they're open at 7 high schools, and we have participation from a number of them at the initial tournament this spring. But doing that again, and it looks like probably late September, early October.
Yeah.
But and we bowed to Ben on that because he's setting the thing up. He does a really good job of getting out to those schools, and the future of fishing really is getting kids out there.
Mm-hmm.
And there is no better way than getting fishing clubs at high schools going on this. So we are happy. We were really proud to support Ben and Hook, Line, and Sinker Tackle. It's a good partnership, but he is helping get those kids out fishing. So we actually had a great donation coming in, and we'll put that towards getting more kids out there and make sure that there's an entry fee to the tournament. And we, in the past, and we will, I'll make this commitment this morning, and again, we will provide scholarships for any young man, any young person, okay, man or woman, boy or girl, who wants to fish in the tournament. We'll provide a scholarship for them and make sure that they can get in there and do some fishing.
Yeah, and that's Ben Miller's tournament?
That's Ben Miller's tournament.
Mm-hmm. And our tournament, do we sponsor kids as well?
Usually we have somebody steps forward and sponsors kids for the tournament. So show up, kids under 16 is $10, but don't worry about it. I will guarantee there'll be a sponsor there that will pick up any kids entry into the tournament.
Get your kids at the tournament. Right. Come on, let's go.
If you have to shave, you're going to show ID, all right? But outside of that, we'll get scholarships.
Yeah, and so what Ben's kind of doing, it really kind of hits home for me, right? Because when I got to college, there's kids, I hope there's kids, I know there's kids out there like me. When I got to college and I figured out there was a bass fishing team, I almost fell out of my chair reading the clubs list on my computer in my dorm. I was like, I could compete in bass. I was already competitive playing football and rugby and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, I get to compete in my passion now. Let's do it. The first tournament I ever fished, I had a drop shot rod. It was Lake Roosevelt, Arizona. There was probably 6 kids on the bass team. I wasn't even supposed to fish that tournament at all. And I had a guy come with me from my dorm who was not into fishing at all, but he was like, oh, I'll check it out or whatever. Our club president, Anthony Lee, when we got there, talked to the tournament director, and he said, we got a boat for you guys to go fish that tournament. We weren't even supposed to fish. Wow. So 2 guys gave us 1 spinning rod. We tied on a drop shot. It's the first bass fishing tournament I ever did. I think we came in 8th place. I caught 4 bass. I was fishing with Joey Uribe's father, who's the nicest man on earth. And I caught all 4 fish. My partner was catching sticks, and I was driving him crazy. By the 4th one, I was like, Jesus, Russell, what are you going to build a house out here? Can you help me out? I'm trying to get this last one in the boat. But it was from that moment on, I was just in love with competitive bass fishing. And to do that in high school, and it's not only bass fishing.
And college.
Yeah, and I mean, for Ben to do that for these high school students, it's not only just bass fishing. It's fresh and salt. So whatever you love, you can compete in it. And I think it's so cool.
We're talking about a stretch of the coastline that it doesn't take a lot of money. You don't have to get out on one of the party boats.
Yeah.
You can catch nice fish offshore.
Yeah.
And again, we get Kachuma right over the hills from Santa Barbara. Just an excellent opportunity to go and for really good bass fishing.
Yeah.
If you're into the streams, San Ynez River runs right down there, and there's really good trout fishing right above the lake.
Yeah, and I'm just so happy for those kids who have that thing that I have, and now they're like, yes, thank God.
Patrick,
you know?
I remember, you were in the Bass Club, San Jose State, and we were doing our best practices workshops. And we actually did one up in Monterey. We did it in West Marina in Monterey. And I remember talking to you and your dad, and you bringing over the bass team from San Jose State and coming in and participating in the best practices workshop. It was really pretty cool, getting all those kids who were so fired up on fishing.
Yeah, it's good to get them in front of that knowledge, because everybody who loves fishing kind of goes out and fishes, right? Like, they don't really think about it too much. It's good to get the best practices in there, so you go, hey, you want to keep doing this? You want your kids to do this? Let's focus on the fish and the habitat and make sure that that's good.
For a long time, starting off, there are problems. A lot of the problems have been addressed, and they're still addressing problems with commercial fishing.
Yeah.
But it really is getting better.
Yeah.
And we work really hard to help clean up some of the really bad practices of commercial fishing. Okay?
Yeah.
Dragging a net along the bottom of the ocean, scraping up the habitat is not the best way to fish, period. Okay? But the thing is, as you go along and you start cleaning up everybody else's backyard, every once in a while you have to kind of wander in front of the mirror and go,
yeah,
maybe it's time that we look in the mirror and figure out a better way for us to do. So, how can we handle recreational fishing so that we guarantee a future out there? How do we do it in a sustainable way?
Yeah.
And that's what best practices really, that's how it came about. It's like, how can we do a better job? If I'm cleaning up somebody else's backyard, I better make sure my own backyard's clean too. And that's really what we've done. And it's not hard, and you get more out of it that way. You know what's going on. So look at the website, Best Practices for Recreational Fishing at sportfishingconservancy.org.
Yeah, absolutely. And I heard you mention it's getting better, right?
Yep.
What instances are you seeing? Like, does this bluefin have anything to do with it? I see that people are kind of catching sand bass a lot against. Is that like kind of what you're talking about, or?
I'm talking about across the board.
Yeah.
Okay? And like I said, not perfect. Okay?
Yeah.
Sand bass, if people remember back 20 years ago, sand bass was the staple for party boat fishing in Southern California. Staple. I mean, party boats would bring in 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 fish a day. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the reason why they were bringing them in was they were fishing a spawning biomass. Okay.
Yeah.
You can only do that so long, and then all of a sudden the count goes from 4,000 to 0.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what happened. Better management on the fish, making sure that that you've got a size limit, and I am a strong advocate for a slot limit on that.
Yeah.
The Department of Fish and Wildlife disagrees, and I still disagree with them on it. You look at Florida, they do a good job of managing their species. And how do they do it? They use slot limits. You can catch a fish that is within a slot size, but the bigger fish are more fecund, they have more offspring, they grow bigger fish from that. So let's use that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's use something like that. Okay, that's my plug in there for best practices.
Yeah.
But anyhow, the regulations change on sand bass, and they are starting to come back. I think when you take a look at what's happening, Bob Osborne, the guy that we're fishing with in surf, has been on the highly migratory species advisory panel for the Pacific Fishery Management Council.
Don't worry, I've been screwing up words left and right.
Bob's been doing that for over 20 years, okay?
Yeah.
He has been successful. His background is not only an insane fisherman, his background is he's a CPA, a certified public accountant. So he understands the law, he understands how it works, and he understands that there are nuances.
Yeah.
And he consistently brings those up, and the attorneys for the National Marine Fisheries Service go, oh yeah, we gotta pay attention to that. You take a look now at this work by Bob and others, that the reason the Pacific Fishery Management Council, in my view, is absolutely the best council out of the 8 across the United States.
Yeah.
It's not an accident, it's been hard work. But the results of that hard work are, it reined in a lot of the fishing. We don't have pelagic longlines within our 200-mile EEZ, so marlin catches go up. You take a look, all of a sudden our bluefin tuna catches go up. We haven't had bluefin tuna here since the days of the Avalon Tuna Club in the 1900s, when they were catching bluefin tuna out of rowboats. Okay, probably not quite that good right now, but you know what?
It might get there.
Pretty close.
It might get there.
Pretty close. So yeah, they were a little bit better with the rowboats back then too.
Yeah.
So.
And then just want to put a little plug out there for the Sportfishing Conservancy. If you support us, if you enjoy the work we're doing, we're for fishermen, we're for kids fishing, we're for fish. We do have a donation tab on our website, and we would absolutely love you to donate whatever you can help with so we can continue our work, we can keep kids fishing, we can keep habitat growing, and we can keep catching fish.
A really important thing here, keep adults fishing too. You know,
that's my excuse to keep fishing.
You're here setting up the podcast and nobody can find me because I'm still out in the dock fishing down there, okay? Yeah. It's the defective gene. You either have it or you don't. And, you know, it's like, oh, I can't put one more cast.
Yeah.
Last cast.
Yeah, that is a good point though, Tom. Like, keep adults fishing because people who love fishing, that's our therapy. Veterans, everybody, you know, it kind of really puts a smile on your face when you start the way out that day or you end the day like that. Like, so keep
You
going.
get outside, you get your feet wet, you get a chance to enjoy nature on nature's terms.
Yeah.
So the great outdoors is not the Discovery Channel with the window open. Just get out there and do it. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Even if it's hard,
Even if it's hard, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, anything else, Tom, that you want to talk
I don't
about?
think so. I think you covered an awful lot. You know, August 26th, we've got the Conservancy's Classic with the Gabriel Coast Conservancy and Sportfishing Conservancy, Haskell's Beach and just beyond Goleta.
Yeah.
And then the No Motor Tournament on Saturday, October 21st, Denny's Deli.
Perfect, awesome. So we got 3 tournaments coming up. We got high school tournaments coming up in fall. We got a lot more stuff going on. And you know what? It's so hard to keep track of, but guess what? I do it for you on social media. And you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. I'll keep you all updated. You can go to the website and find those links, or you can search us on any of those social media platforms, and you will get the info. And we even put a couple treats out there to help you during these tournaments on social media. So follow us online, the Sportfishing Conservancy. Visit our website, go check out all the rules. Donate if you really love what we're doing. We appreciate you. You guys keep us going. We had a guy donate a truckload full of gear that we cannot wait to get the kids. Shout out to Bronco and Steve Summers. That helps so much. And how every person that gives to us, it helps us give back to our communities and give back to these kids and keep people
Keep it
fishing.
going.
Yeah, absolutely. So I just want to say thank you so much, Tom, for coming out here, catching some fish and getting on the podcast. And
Patrick, my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. We'll see everybody in Santa Barbara on the tournament. See you on YouTube. We've got more podcasts coming out. And sayonara.